Now, today we are going to be working on ratios, which ratios are pretty simple. I'm confident that you guys will do well on this. Let's take a look at our examples here. The first thing we need to talk about is the fact that you can write ratios three different ways. Okay? You can actually write it as a fraction. You can also write it with the word to, or you could write it with a colon. All of those are acceptable ways to write a ratio, and in fact, on some of your assignments, in fact, I think your assignment today, it tells you to write it all three ways. Okay? So you have to write it all three of those ways in order to get credit. Okay? Let's take a look at our first example here. It says bananas to apples. And if you look over here, it gives us a list of what we have. And on number one, what we need to do is we need to write our ratio in all three fashions, and that ratio being bananas to apples. Okay, well, let's look. How many bananas do I have? Well, I have 4 bananas. Okay, so when I'm writing this, I need to write the number of bananas over the number of apples. Okay? Yeah, so I have 4 bananas. That's my numerator there. And I have 6 apples. Okay, so it could be 4 to 6. Or we could simplify that down to 2 to 3. Okay, or we could also write it with the word 2, so it could be 2 to 3, or it could also be 2 colon 3. Okay, all of those are acceptable ways to write my ratio. It's not too difficult, I don't think. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says it wants the ratio of bananas and apples to oranges. So on this one, we need to have our number of bananas plus our number of apples all over my number of oranges. Okay, so how many bananas do I have? I have 4. And apples, I have 6. It'll give that to us. If you notice right over here on the top left corner, it tells us how many we have. But on your worksheet, it'll also tell you. And that's going to be over 3 oranges. So, yeah, it's going to be 10 over 3. Okay, now I need to, I can't simplify that when I'm dealing with ratios because I'm allowed to have improper fractions, because basically what this is saying is I have 10 apples and bananas to every 3 oranges. So 10 over 3, that's going to be one of my answers. Then I also need to use the word 2. And I also need to use a colon. So that would be 10 colon 3. If your directions say all 3, then yes. Which on one of your pages it does say that. So yes, you have to do that on that one page. The other page you do not. All right, let's take a look at number 3, our final example. This one says oranges to the total pieces of fruit. So we're going to have our number of oranges over our number of total fruit. Well, let's see. We have 3 oranges. And we have, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 3 is 13, so that would be 13. Okay, then we could write it with our word 2. And we could write it finally with our colon. Okay, just like that. As you can see, this is pretty simple. The only thing I want to be sure and remind you about is whatever word comes first, like on number 3 when it says oranges, 2 total pieces of fruit, since your oranges came first, they have to be in your numerator. Okay, so make sure you do that whenever you are doing your work on your page. Okay? Let's real quickly, or any questions on how we do that? It's pretty straightforward, but let's real quickly take a look at one of your worksheets. Okay, this one right here. If you look at this one that says puzzles, twisters, and teasers. Now, this can kind of be confusing, but what we're going to do is we're going to write a ratio with the number of letters. Like on number one says the number of T's to the number of R's. Well, how many T's are in the word ratio? It's only one. How many R's are there in the word ratio? One. So our ratio is going to be, 1 to 1. Because there's only one T and there's only one R. So that our ratio will be 1 to 1. No, this one it doesn't say write all three forms. You only have to do it in one form. In fact, I'd probably do fraction form. And then the number 2 says a consonant vowel. So you're going to count up how many consonants there are in the word ratio, and you're going to count up how many vowels there are in the word ratio. Okay? All right.